This is your Barbados Today Evening News Update for Monday, July 9. So glad you can join us. I'm Frenella Wedderburn. It will be some time before government's plans to extend the opening hours at 2 polyclinics to 24 hours become a reality. Word of this from Health and Wellness Minister Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Bostic, who revealed that government still has to deal with a number of logistical issues. The around-the-clock service at the Randall Phillips and Winston Scott polyclinics, intended to ease the pressure on the Accident and Emergency Department, and will cost taxpayers an additional $3 million. Bostic tells Barbados Today there is a critical need for additional human resources, and the government has to meet with trade unions as well as the Ministry of Civil Service to discuss the matter. He also revealed that both facilities will require major upgrades before the transition to the 24-hour service. Meanwhile, the health minister is also eyeing a plan to ensure the country can handle the mental trauma of disasters. Bostic says given the frequency and intensity of recent storms in the region, government could not afford to leave the issue to chance. He expressed concern that the island's mental health facilities were not in a position to cope with mass trauma.
When it is considered that individuals with known mental health-related diagnosis are placed at risk with the onset of a disaster or impending disaster, the potential disease burden rises astronomically, and the need for interventions to avert a public health crisis becomes an urgent necessity. The importance of having an adequate mental health system prior to an emergency situation becomes a national priority for disaster reduction. The capacity of a country to mobilize existing resources efficiently and effectively to organize an adequate mental health response will depend on the strength of its community-based mental health system and the existence of adequate policies, plans and legislation. A mental health component, therefore, has to be part of the National Health Sector Plan. My government, with PAHO's assistance, is therefore putting emphasis on mental health reform through comprehensive strategies to implement changes to the Mental Health Act 1985 in a holistic and coordinated approach.
In other news this Monday, 2 lawmen remain under investigation following reports of improper conduct at the Soca Legends show last Saturday. The officers who allegedly harassed a number of women at the event were questioned at the weekend but have since been released. Police Public Relations Officer Rodney Innes tells Barbados Today the matter has not been closed.
What I would say to you is that the investigation is still continuing. They're looking to collect evidence from all the parties involved to discover whether or not there's enough evidence to prefer a charge against anyone. That has not been done as yet. So formally, I would just say to you that the investigation is being continued.
There were big celebrations today at Haggard Hall, St. Michael, as the island's newest centenarian was feted by Governor-General Dame Sandra Mason, family and friends. And upbeat Joseph Nathaniel Giddings enjoyed the special attention as the gathering sang his praises. His daughter Vivian St. Hill told Barbados Today her dad, who was a joiner and carpenter in his younger days, is a big lover of food and cricket. In sports, Barbados's male rugby sevens team is heading to the United States this week to compete in 2 club rugby tournaments in New York and Pennsylvania. The U.S. tour will not only prepare the players for their Rugby Americans North Regional Sevens Championship, being staged this September in Barbados, but also give them the perfect platform to market the highly anticipated Mitsubishi Electric Rugby Barbados World Sevens tournament. The Barbados Jet Blues will play in both the Roadkill Sevens in Bridgehampton, New York on Saturday and in the Dolestown Sevens at the Dolestown Rugby Club in Pennsylvania on Saturday, July 21. They will also compete in a mini tournament at Buffalo Rugby Club on Wednesday, July 18, to further improve their competitiveness and skill set in the lead-up to the premier rugby events to be hosted in Barbados later this year.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional developments, we head to Haiti, where angry protests triggered by the hike in petrol, diesel and kerosene today escalated with calls for President Jovenel Moïse to step down. Despite moves by the government to temporarily suspend the double-digit increase, protesters insist the action is not enough and have threatened to embark on a national strike. We get more in this report from Al Jazeera TV.
The outrage was immediate, and Haiti's government got the message. It canceled its plan to increase the price of fuel after anger poured into the streets. Roads were blocked in major cities. Businesses were looted. Demonstrators burned cars and set fire to at least 2 police stations.
This is a message to our president. Look how the cars are burning. Prices in local markets are going up. The situation is bad. The president must listen to us.
The plan called for a sharp increase of up to 50% for fuel prices. A liter of diesel would rise to about $4, roughly $5 for regular gas. With 80% of workers earning less than $2 a day, protesters call the move unrealistic and insulting.
Kids who grow up in poor families can't go to school. The price of gas and other goods are already high. People want to eat, but the price of rice, cooking oil, it's all going up.
Haiti's Prime Minister Jacques Lafontaine announced the plan would be suspended until further notice. The unrest led some major airlines like American, Delta, and JetBlue to temporarily cancel their flights to Port-au-Prince on Saturday. President Jovenel Moïse took office last year, promising to improve the economy. The price increase was part of that plan. The government says fuel subsidies cost too much and are hurting the country's economic growth. In exchange for stopping the subsidies, Haiti was to receive aid from the International Monetary Fund.
And on the international scene, uncertainty looms over the Theresa May government on the heels of the resignation of Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson. Johnson, a senior cabinet minister, quit mere hours after Brexit Secretary David Davis resigned. His departure came shortly before Prime Minister May began addressing Parliament about her new Brexit plan, which had angered Conservative MPs.
First, it was her Brexit Minister David Davis. Then it was her Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson. Theresa May hit with 2 resignations from her cabinet within hours, leaving storm clouds gathering over the British Prime Minister's plans for Brexit. May's government is deeply divided over the issue, between EU supporters who want to maintain close ties with the trading bloc and Eurosceptics who want to escape the EU's rules and regulations. But on Friday, the Prime Minister had emerged from a crunch meeting with her cabinet to declare that her ministers were now united.
Well, we've had good, in-depth, detailed discussions today. Crucially, what we have agreed is the creation of a UK-EU free trade area.
Clearly, Johnson and Davis disagreed, and in a resignation statement, Johnson warned Britain will end up like a colony of the EU after Brexit. Indeed, many Eurosceptics accuse May of betraying her promise to pursue a clean break with the EU. With these 2 protest resignations, a noisy rebellion among the ranks of her Conservative Party could gather steam.
And that's news and sports, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates and like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alert via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can also hear us on a Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good evening.